But for listeners here on 5 Sports Extra, we'll now head over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for live Premier League commentary of Spurs against Bournemouth with John Akers.
Thank you, Harry, and welcome to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Richarlison tries to get in around the back. You'd not miss much. Spurs had a good move down the left, a low cross in, Petrovic with a parry and then cleared away by Bournemouth. So it's them who've had the best of the very, very early stages here. We've only played a minute, and it is 0-0 between Tottenham Hotspur and Bournemouth as the sun just pokes its head between the clouds, and we've got a shadow on the pitch, and it's a full house here. 60,000 fans, the Bournemouth fans, red and black in the lower tier away to my left in the corner, and that incredible south stand to my right hand side just looks magnificent, just all the way back there with the fans standing, almost every one of them in that stand, and it's a sight to behold. Terrific afternoon for football. I'll keep you up to date with all the other goals as they go in as well this afternoon here on 5 Sports Extra. And if you're looking for the Manchester United Burnley game, that's over on 5 Live. As a long ball direct play through the middle looking for Semenyo for Bournemouth is gathered by Vicario in the Spurs goal. Vicario in goal for Spurs, back for Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Spence as Spurs come down the left with Spence, who's challenged by Brooks, who got the ball, says the referee Simon Hooper, with a sliding challenge, and Bournemouth will chip the ball towards halfway. Van de Ven is across though, hooked on further by Sarr. And now that's good control and a little spicy turn from Evan Nielsen, who is clipped, he says, by Richarlison. Simon Hooper, and he's given a free kick to Bournemouth 10 yards inside their own half. Bentancur, Paulina and Sarr, and then Kudus, Richarlison, Johnson unchanged for Spurs. Petrovic in goal for Bournemouth, the back four of Smith, Diakite, Senesi and Truffert, and then Tyler Adams holding, and then ahead of him Alex Scott and Marcus Tavernier, Semenyo and Brooks, and then Evan Nielsen up the top. And he just wants a word here with the captain, Adam Smith, and wants a word with Tavernier, who wasn't happy, I don't think, about that challenge. And Bournemouth have the free kick. Franny.
Yeah, it was a great piece of skill from Evan Nielsen, wasn't it? Sweet little turn in his own half. You expect a player of his ability to keep the ball in that sort of scenario, but a great bit of skill to win inside the free kick.
Bristol City 0, Hull 1 in the Championship as Bournemouth come down the left-hand side with Semenyo, who's near the corner flag, stands on the ball, gets it back inside to Scott, wearing the number 8 in short sleeves. Low ball in, good chance for Evan Nielsen, deflected and in, and Bournemouth have an early lead at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Took a nasty deflection, Vicario not happy about it, but the goal at the moment looks like it's going to stand, and the Bournemouth fans in the sunshine celebrate. The players go over to the corner flag. Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1.
What a start for the visitors. And Spurs had a chance a few minutes ago, a half chance if you like, but this has certainly rocked the home supporters and the home side. The defenders, Spurs defence, were sort of looking for an offside decision, and I'm sure VAR will look at it, but it looks like he's offside, Evan Nielsen. He times his run, little run into the 18-yard box, just trying to see who played the ball into him, couldn't quite admit it, but he touched it with his right foot, and then he gets a deflection which takes the ball past Vicario. He can't get anywhere near it, and it gives Bournemouth a perfect start.
I don't think it's going in. I don't think he hits it well at all. I think he scuffs it. The angle I've seen, I think it's going wide, and it's only the defender
that takes it in.
But that'll go to the dubious goals panel. At the moment it stands as an Evan Nielsen goal, but they will definitely have a look at that, because as I've mentioned, I'm not sure it was on target when he hit it. It wasn't the best contact, was it? Who did it deflect off, Ryan? Did you see?
I didn't catch who it was, no.
So Spurs concede their first goal in this Premier League season, and they trail 1-0 to Bournemouth, and they are so dangerous on the break as Evan Nielsen's got possession again and goes back to Scott. It was a lovely little pass into Evan Nielsen, slide rule pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, perfect ball in, little run in between the defenders.
Here they come again down the left hand side. Bournemouth challenge goes in on Truffert, comes off Truffert, and it's a goal kick for Spurs. Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1. 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. Hull leading Bristol City in the Championship. Northampton have taken the lead at Leyton Orient, and Stockport are 1-0 up at Wigan in League One. And you're up to date on 5 Sports Extra. Here's Semenyo for Bournemouth. and he's got some room ahead of him. He looks so quick, he looks so sharp, so fit at the moment. And here's Evan Nielsen, who drags a shot just wide of Vicario's right-hand post. It opened up for him then, and it was a half-decent strike. He just dragged it slightly, and goal kick for Spurs. That could be 2-0.
Well, you're spot on, John, because I think that was a really good chance, albeit it was a fair distance out, just literally 18, 19 yards out. Would have been very interesting if that had been on target. Goalkeeper Vicario probably had that covered, but great start from Bournemouth.
Northampton take the lead at Leyton Orient. As Spurs have got possession on the halfway line, trailing by a 0-0. 7 minutes gone. 5 Sports Extra. Spence on the left with his ponytail bouncing on his neck. Strokes it back inside to Van de Ven, and then he goes all the way back to Vicario. You can hear the whistles from the Bournemouth fans.
Be interesting to see how Spurs and the supporters as well react to that, being the first goal that they've conceded in the Premier League this season.
This fixture was 2-2 last season. We thought it would be a good game. I have a feeling that won't be our last goal in the game. Both sides like to go and play. Got a good attacking threat as Evan Nielsen holds the ball up. Toe poke tries to find Semenyo, but it's overhit and it's just gone out of play, and it's a throw in to Spurs on the far side, 15 yards inside the Bournemouth half, right hand side. Foul throw. Don't see them very often. Foul throw from Porro, who can't quite believe it. He's got a Gaelic shrug going on, palms to the sky, saying to Simon Hooper, "What? Foul throw?"
I can half understand the foul throw sometimes when a player has a run-up that tries to launch a long ball into the box or something, and they're giving it a real lot of effort, but not a short throw like that.
Long ball over the top, tried to find Tavernier. I mean, you'd have taken just hundreds and hundreds of throw-ins, wouldn't you? You're right back, so you'd have taken all yours.
It was one of those things that you almost had a little bit of embarrassment if he got pulled up for a foul throw, because it shouldn't happen.
Johnson's got a bit of space down the left for Spurs, midway inside the Bournemouth half, moving towards the corner of the penalty area. Spence on the overlap, overhit little short ball, and that cheer you can hear is the Bournemouth fans in the corner, some 3,000 of them, and it's a goal kick for Bournemouth.
You can see how that sort of play is something that Spurs are keen to do, though. That's a few times now Jed Spence has always bombed on, made that little overlap, but the ball from Brennan Johnson was just a little bit overhit, too much weight on the pass. But if the timing of the run's right and the pass is right, it can be a real threat to the opposition in that area of the pitch.
Beto has scored for Everton at Wolves, a Jack Grealish headed assist there. So Beto gives Everton the lead at Wolves, who have no Strand Larsen today. Of course, he's rumoured to be linked with Newcastle United, and it was mentioned that he had a slight ankle problem in the pre-match press conference, but he's not in the squad at all this afternoon for Wolves. So that is a concern for Wolverhampton Wanderers, as Evan Nielsen is stood in an offside position, decides to chest the ball down and give away the free kick rather than let it run through to the goalkeeper, which is an interesting decision. Ball was live, he chests it down, becomes active, offside, and gives it to the keeper. That
was a very strange one, John. One of the words you used to describe it was exactly what was going through my mind. I just thought he was going to let the ball go through to the keeper, but at the last second he just let it hit his chest, and as such he was in a completely well offside. The official stuck his flag up.
Bournemouth like sprinters at the blocks when Spurs have got the ball in their half. They're second only to Liverpool in the second half of last season for shots on goal following high press and winning the ball back. They're very, very good at it, and they've just won a second ball there in midfield, and that's a lovely ball from Semenyo, and Brooks has got some space ahead of him. Smith on the overlap, Brooks, lovely looking cross, Semenyo just over. Super build out, a brilliant move from Bournemouth, and Semenyo's got his head in his hands because he's headed just over the crossbar from about 6 or 7 yards out.
He's got to score, John. It's a fabulous bit of play, the build up, the manoeuvring the ball out to the right hand side, and the delivery, the cross with the outside of his left foot is absolutely fantastic from Brooks. But Semenyo's got to score. He's 6 yards out, middle of the goal. It's a nice height. He's not under any real pressure, but he puts the ball literally just a fraction over the crossbar. Bournemouth should be 2-0 up.
He was guilty of missing a few chances last week, Antoine Semenyo, as he's too close to this free kick, according to the Spurs fans that you can hear, and he's going to get a yellow card here for delaying the taking of a free kick, which is really silly from Antoine Semenyo. He was just standing about 4 yards from the ball instead of 10, and the crowd, I think, managed to persuade the referee that was worthy of a booking.
A silly one, as you say, John. I mean, you know the kind of distance you stood from the ball, and even if you're trying to stop them taking a quick free kick, make it at least 7, 8, maybe 9 yards, and make the referee give you a little bit of leeway. But 4. That kind of distance you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, Evan Nielsen, that's nice tight control in the turn, and I say that, and he almost gives it to Richarlison, and they have had the ball turned over here, Bournemouth, and here comes Spurs, and that's really good covering from Tyler Adams, who tidies up, back to Vicario, plants it long, and it's out for a throw-in to Spurs deep in their own half, and it's still Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1, 12 minutes gone. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC, and I'm with the former Southampton defender Franny Benali.
Not a great place to be losing the ball there for Bournemouth, but you've got to praise the reaction from the Bournemouth defenders, and especially Tyler Adams, who's quickly, swiftly pinched the ball back again. But it's certainly been them that have been putting Spurs under pressure and asking, how good are you of actually playing out from the back, and they're struggling to do that at the moment.
Your Saints have taken the lead at Watford. Watford 0, Southampton 1. Archer with the goal as Bournemouth have possession. Edge of the penalty area. Evan Nielsen back heel. Tavernier on his left foot. He's good on that left foot as well, Tavernier. He tried to square it and he gave it straight to a white shirt, and Spurs clear, and Bournemouth have possession midway inside their own half with Senesi. Plays the ball out to the left to Truffert, who's challenged but rides the challenge and keeps possession for Bournemouth, who have got it with Senesi, who chips the ball over the top. Evan Nielsen is standing in an offside position. That's the second time he's just been standing offside rather than trying to get back on.
John, that's bizarre. We both noticed that. I mean, he stood at least 10 to 15, if not 20 yards in an offside position. Truffaut's got the ball in the left back position, and Evan Nielsen's waving his arms around at him as if to say, put the ball in the channel or play it forward. If he does that to him, he's clearly be the most offside player I think I've ever seen in a game of football. Yeah,
he's goal hanging. Here's Brooks for Bournemouth. Challenge. Looked like a foul from Van de Ven. Referee says play go on, and that is definitely a foul from Romero on the lip of the centre circle. He's given Van de Ven the yellow for the previous challenge on Brooks. And well, a couple of bookings early on in this one. It's been spicy, it's been fast, it's been frenetic. Both sides trying to win the ball back high up the pitch.
That's exactly how they play, isn't it? You know, they can both break at speed and with precision, but when they lose possession, they look to win the ball back and high press as well. So if you miss time a tackle, as Van de Ven did then on Brooks, you're liable to get that booking, and especially the referee's going to pull it back if he doesn't give the first one, and when there's a second challenge very similar, someone's going to fall foul of the referee, and that was Mickey Van de Ven on that occasion.
There's never any question of Bournemouth sitting on leads, is there? They just play.
No, not at all. There's no difference in their powers. Some teams you see just sort of sit a little bit deeper, John, don't they? But they're still full on the front foot, looking to play through them.
Brooks, nice little 1-2. Tavernier tries to get it back to Brooks. Foot race. Van de Ven's always going to win that. And he tidies up back to Vicario, who then dinks a little ball to Van de Ven, who takes it on his chest, and he's got plenty of space. Back to Vicario it goes again. He's so quick, Mickey Van de Ven. In fact, I heard a good stat this week about Van de Ven and Romero. When they play together, they've got a 51% win ratio, Spurs, and when they don't play together, 25%. Huge drop-off.
Just goes that sometimes players just click, John, don't they? You know, there's a relationship and an understanding, clearly quality players as well, but that's a big difference between the two, isn't it?
Oxford 0, Coventry 1 in the Championship. They've started really well, Coventry, under Frank Lampard, and earlier it was West Brom who won at Stoke 1-0, QPR 3, Charlton 1, and Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield United's miserable start continues. In the Premier League earlier, Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. It was João Pedro with a brilliant header, and then Enzo Fernandez took the penalty, not João Pedro, after I brought him into my fantasy team this week. The ball's played long over the top by Spurs. Foot race down the right hand side. Kudus is after it, and Semenyo picks it up from a Truffert clearance midway inside his own half, and it's clipped. It's going to be close to being a yellow again, you know. And he says sorry straight away there, Porro, because he knew, and Bournemouth take it quickly, and I think he's onside here. Truffert on the left hand side, looking to put in a cross. They got caught napping there, Spurs. Now it's with Scott, corner of the penalty area. In it comes. Evan Nielsen's flicked header goes wide. Good break from Bournemouth again, and Truffert just decided to go on a run, and they were alive to it, Bournemouth.
Yeah, he saw the opportunity. Sort of Porro vacated that position when he made the initial foul on Semenyo after he tracked him, and Semenyo's touch was great actually. Came inside, drew the foul, brilliant play. But just looking at Bournemouth and the position we've got here in the fabulous stadium in the press area, John, you can really see how Bournemouth are so brave when they do go to press. They almost go man for man at the back. There's no additional cover, no defender, no sort of protection. It's man for man, so it's a bit of a gamble. If they do break through it, they could be in trouble.
Sarr and Diakite there in a bit of a tangle, and Spurs have got possession on the right hand side with Kudus, who goes back to Porro, thinks about a cross but goes square instead to Paulina back to Van de Ven, lip of the centre circle inside the Bournemouth half, left hand side, Spence, little flick round the corner from Johnson. Spurs win a throw, do they? No, it's a Bournemouth throw. And applause from Thomas Frank and from Andoni Iraola. Andoni Iraola just scribbling some notes on his pad, wearing a blue t-shirt, and Thomas Frank in a green polo with his arms folded, edge of his technical area as Bournemouth take the throw in. And will clear away, but that'll be a Spurs throw. They just got boxed in there by Spurs. Good atmosphere, trying to lift their team, and boos from the Bournemouth fans. Cherries fans all standing away to my left-hand side as Spurs are in possession in the centre circle. And I think they wanted a forward pass from Bentancur there, and here's Kudus with a little turn. Kudus thinks about playing it forward. Still got the ball, Kudus here, 25 yards from goal. Now he plays it to the right-hand side to Porro. He's got someone overlapping. Gets it back to Porro. 1-2. This is midway inside the Bournemouth half right-hand side for Spurs at the moment. Little chip ball forward is a good one. Paulina. It's good tidying up from Scott, who clears to Semenyo midway inside the Spurs half, who now finds Tavernier, and this is where they are dangerous, and that's a clip. It's a free kick. The fans don't like it, but he definitely got clipped there, and it is a free kick for Bournemouth, 15 yards inside their own half.
Yeah, it is, and sometimes you wonder whether actually giving a foul away like they did there against Spurs is the best thing to do, because Bournemouth, very much like Spurs are capable of doing, if they break fast, you could be in trouble. So giving away a foul as soon as you lose possession of the ball is sometimes not the worst thing to do, but you've got to be careful that you don't rack up the yellow cards.
Barnet 0, Colchester 1, and Chesterfield 0, Crawley 1. Our latest scores. Good challenge that from Porro, but Bournemouth try and find Senesi. That's really good from Senesi. He was beaten there, and finds Scott. Lovely step over, that'll be a booking. He's fouled 25 yards from goal, and it's absolutely a yellow card, I would have thought. It's not. It's not
going to let him off. It's going to let him off.
Wow, well that's not consistent. He's given one
it's not,
like
John,
that already.
Yeah. It's, I think it was maybe the genuine attempt to win the ball. It's a foul, clearly, isn't it? But it's Paulina who's got away with one there, shall we say. But what it is another opportunity for Bournemouth to deliver a quality ball into the Spurs 18-yard box.
Terrific feat from Alex Scott. Really good. It'd be great to see him develop this season, having signed from a lower division for a few quid. He's got really good feet. It's him and Christie really vying for that position in the centre of midfield, and Christie's on the bench today, and it's Brooks and Scott over this free kick on the left hand side. 4 in the penalty area. In it comes. It's a shot which Vicario has to be sharp to from Brooks with his left foot, and he was scrambling there for a moment, and it was heading in, Franny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked to be on target, certainly. Thought it might have been Scott who took the free kick, but Vicario was scrambling across. He managed to get, I think, both hands to it, but he pushes it away for a corner. But Bournemouth have had a fantastic start to this game, haven't they?
And they've got a corner, and it is going to be Scott to take it right-footed. Elsewhere, Luton have taken the lead at Burton. Corner from the far side, in it comes, whipped in, and Brooks heads over, and maybe could have done better. I think it might have flicked off his shoulder in the end, and he was completely unmarked there, and it was a nice height. Goal kick Spurs.
I think it might have been Brooks and maybe even Truffert who was up there. Not really marked at all whatsoever by the Spurs defence. I know they're going a little bit zonal in certain areas, but
I think it might have been Truffert who put Brooks off slightly, because he jumped in front of him, didn't he?
That's right, they almost challenged one another.
Yeah, didn't win the header, and it was just perfect for Brooks. That's probably not his forte, I wouldn't have thought, scoring headers from there. Brooks, he's more used to delivering crosses.
Yeah,
it's good to see him back as well after his cancer, playing at the top level. Brilliant ball from Semenyo. Truffert low into the penalty area, step over from Evan Nielsen, cleared away. They look dangerous every time they come forward, Bournemouth, at the moment. They lead 1-0, 21 minutes gone in the game. Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1.
they've got the upper hand, Bournemouth, John, in this game. They've started well, they've scored the first goal of this game. Spurs just can't get into their rhythm.
Vicario chases the long ball from Petrovic, throw in for Spurs, but Bournemouth will try and box them in here by the corner flag. Earlier it was Cardiff 4, Plymouth 0, Doncaster 1, Rotherham 0. And Barnsley have taken the lead against Huddersfield in League One. Blackpool are 1-0 up against Bolton as well. And in the Championship, Oxford United have equalised against Coventry, it's 1-1, and Bristol City have equalised against Hull, again 1-1. And in League 2, Colchester leading at Barnet, Crawley 1-0 up at Chesterfield. And you are up to date. Challenge in midfield on Kudus, and ironic cheers from the crowd as Simon Hooper gives the free kick to Spurs, 15 yards inside their own half, trailing by a goal to 0. Last 3 in the Premier League, Spurs record is 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1 against Bournemouth, and they lost at Bournemouth 1-0 last season, and the game here was 2-2. You wouldn't rule that out today, would you? Something like that?
Not at all. No, there's goals in both these teams, isn't there? And as you say, Bournemouth taking 4 points off Spurs last season. They know what it takes to sort of get wins here and put points against this team, albeit they're under a different manager now.
Petrovic switches the ball to the right towards Brooks, and the header's won by Jed Spence, and that's a little foul, I think. Ooh, has Adam Smith done his hamstring? Adam Smith's looking at the bench.
He's feeling quite high up on the back of it, and he's gone down.
I think he's gone.
I think
he's just tweaked his hamstring there, Adam Smith. Play goes on though, and the Bournemouth fans aren't happy about it. But here's Spence down the left, big hole back there. But well done to David Brooks for going back and checking on it. I don't think, you know, when someone just stops and there's been no contact, and you just worry.
He's definitely done something, John, hasn't he?
I think he's just
needs some kind of treatment, even if it's not a bad pull. He's definitely felt something there, the way he's gone down.
Very difficult to play on with any kind of hamstring tear, though, isn't it? You might have had one in your career, I don't know. But
yeah, a few twinges and things. You just feel them, don't you? And especially at this level of game, sometimes there's matches and things you might be able to just protect it, or at a certain stage of the game. But when you pull up like that this early in a match, you know, you're often in a bit of trouble. And certainly when Spurs carried on and didn't sort of let the referee deal with that incident, Iraola was very, very unhappy that play wasn't stopped.
Wolves have equalised against Everton, and it's Hwang with the goal, who replaced Strand Larsen, and he went on a little run last year, Hwang, didn't he, with Wolves, and well, he'll need to step up if they do sell Strand Larsen, and Wolves will have to get busy before Monday, you'd have thought, if Strand Larsen does go. Smith is back on his feet, still feeling, it's in between his glute and his hamstring, right at the top of his left hamstring.
He's just taken his captain's armband off. Semenyo's giving him a little pat round the back of the head. They're making that change. Well,
you can see he's upset, the captain. He's really upset, Adam Smith, and he's being consoled by Andoni Iraola, because when you get that, when you pull a hamstring like that, you know you're looking at 2 at the very, very best, but probably between 4 and 6 weeks recovery.
And it's just a shame, you know, they've had a decent start to the season, you've done all of pre-season, all the hard work, and then you get back into the matches, which is what you want to do as a player, and then you pick up an injury. It's one of the worst things ever. And it's James Hill, I think, that's come on to replace him, and he's slipped straight in at right back, so it's a like-for-like switch, albeit James Hill's maybe more of a centre half.
Yeah.
But he's got a little challenge on his hands today with Brennan Johnson. Be an interesting little tussle, that.
Yeah, it's a blow. It's definitely a blow. He's got bags of experience, Smith, and he's off. And Hill, wearing number 23 for Bournemouth, as you said, slips in at right back. Bournemouth lead by a goal to nil. 5 Sports Extra. It was Munetsi, by the way, with the assist for the Hwang goal between Wolves and Everton. And I know many of you do your fantasy football. Make sure you check out the new, well, it's got a new name, same 3, the BBC Sport FPL podcast. There, I got that perfect, didn't I? First time. Formerly Fantasy 606, with Ali Bruce Ball, Chris Sutton and Statman Dave, as Spurs are in possession with Van de Ven playing a ball forward, and Johnson's in behind here, decides to go to Kudus with a good chance, left foot shot, hits the legs of the defender, and it was offside anyway. Well, it's an interesting choice that from Brennan Johnson. It was very, very unselfish.
Unselfish is one word, John, isn't it? I thought he should have, and probably could have, easily have driven on a little bit further himself and maybe got a shot away. He certainly got away from the substitute Hill, and the pass that he made was just a little bit overhit and clearly offside, but maybe it's just a little confidence thing, I'm not sure, but he scored the other day, didn't he? So you think he would have maybe driven on and at least had an attempt on target for Spurs.
Here's Semenyo. Oh, he's got there first, Semenyo, and he's got help. And here is Tavernier, deflected shot, brilliant from Van de Ven. What fantastic defending. He came across so quickly, was so alive to it. But I tell you what, Antoine Semenyo at the moment is just first to everything. He looks quicker, sharper. He just looks a step above what he was last season to me.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic start to the season, doesn't he? Carrying on from where he's picked up, but it's great movement from Tavernier as well. But what a tackle to block and keep the score at 1-0 for Spurs.
Fantastic defending. Bournemouth corner, in it comes, right-footed, headed away at the near post by Spurs. First touch from Tavernier isn't the best. He's had to go all the way back to his goalkeeper Petrovic here. Will he give it short to Truffert, or will he launch it? He's going to launch it crossfield. That's a poor decision from the goalkeeper. Give it to Truffert, who can play. It's a poor goalkeeping decision. That just planted it straight out of play when Bournemouth had all of those players forward.
Wasn't even particularly close, was it? It was well over hit. Had the options, as you say, to play out from the back. Just making that wrong decision on that occasion.
16 minutes to half time. I think at the moment Spurs will be just glad to get in. 1-0.
It's another foul throw from Perrault.
Wow. He doesn't understand what's going on.
The assistant referee was the one that flagged and gave it. It wasn't.
Was it a foot? Was it his feet?
It's got to be. Must have seen his foot come over the line.
Yeah.
That's twice he's done it already in this game. 2
foul throws from the same player. I don't think I've been at a game where there's been 2 foul throws by the same player. I mean, obviously Sunday League I have. I've probably done it. Free kick for Bournemouth, left-hand side, left-hand touchline. They lead by a goal to 0 at Spurs. Really good game so far. Spurs have also looked to danger when they've come forward. Long ball down the line from Bournemouth, but they back themselves in this situation to win this ball high up now. And Truffert wins it and gets it to Semenyo, who's off down the left-hand side and is challenged. 14 high turnovers from Bournemouth this season. Only 3 teams better than that.
They do it so well, John, don't they? It's incredible. It's clearly a plan. It's that reaction. I can remember some coaches sort of saying that first few seconds is crucial. No matter where you are on the football pitch, as soon as you lose the ball, you've got a split second or two to try and win it back instantly. And Bournemouth do it particularly well, don't they?
Long throw here then from Bournemouth, from Diakite, but the referee has spotted some pushing and shoving in the penalty area he doesn't like. But he has got an arm. This bloke, he can throw it a long way, and in it comes high. Well, it's too high. It's too far for everyone. And Vicario's claimed that at his near post. Thinks about going early. Fans thought he should have done. They let you know here at Spurs, don't they, if they're not happy. And Wimbledon are 1-0 up at Bradford in League One. And Bristol Rovers have taken the lead at Grimsby, something Manchester United couldn't do in the week. Good challenge from Semenyo again. They've won it high up again here, Bournemouth. Here's Brooks down the right-hand side, heading towards the corner of the penalty area. 3 ahead of him, step over. Here's Tavernier. Can't take it on. Semenyo brings it into the feet of Scott, but it's cleared away by Spurs. They maybe should have done better without a massive overload there, Bournemouth. But here they are with Adams. 20 yards inside the Spurs half. Right hand side, it's Brooks. Evan-Nielsen now on the right. Lovely feet from him to the byline. Challenge, good challenge goes in. He goes down, Evan-Nielsen, too soft that, you're not going to get that. And here's Johnson, challenge, that is a free kick for Spurs, a few yards in from the left-hand touchline, midway inside their own half.
The home supporters, the Spurs fans, are giving Simon Hooper, the referee today, a bit of a hard time, to be honest. And we're seeing Thomas Frank stepping onto the pitch, actually, remonstrating. It looks like David Brooks is actually going to receive a yellow card, maybe, is he? Or just a stern talk. It looks to maybe just a stern talking to. But you can hear the reaction from the home fans. They're not happy with the way that the Bournemouth players have made a few challenges. But in my eyes, I think Hooper's got most of them pretty much spot on. They're pinching the ball off Tottenham. They're not moving the ball quick enough, and they can't do it well enough to get past the press.
Van de Ven. Nice ball into the feet of Richarlison, who's had a quiet start to the game after his goal-scoring exploits in the first two matches. Brooks wins it back for Bournemouth and plays it back to his own goalkeeper. 1-0 Bournemouth lead. 13 minutes plus added time to half-time. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. Exeter have taken the lead against Peterborough in League One. Southampton still lead at Watford. The Spurs are in possession, deep possession, with their goalkeeper Vicario, and now they're playing the ball out from defence. And after being 1-0 down, Bristol City lead 2-1 at home to Hull. And you are up to date as Manchester United take the lead against Burnley. Cullen with an own goal there, Josh Cullen. And Mateus Cunha has gone off injured in that game. Xerxes has replaced him, as Spurs have still got deep possession.
They can't get out, John. Bournemouth are setting the traps. They're marking tightly, and they've won it back again. They've given the ball away, Spurs. They just can't keep possession of the football in this first half.
It's a display of the high press at the moment from Bournemouth. Ball over the top looking for Semenyo. I mean, it's an absolute display, isn't it? If you talk about triggering and all going at the same time, all being on the same page.
Exactly. So well drilled. Everybody knows their roles and their responsibilities. And it looks like they've won a free kick on the edge of their 18-yard box.
Foul
Spurs.
from Semenyo.
But again, the pressure from Semenyo. Evan-Nielsen's backing him up. Every single player is doing their job.
He's got to be careful, Semenyo, if he's going to slide in, go to ground like that. I know it's in the Spurs penalty area, but he's on a yellow card. And that was a foul from Semenyo. Just caught Porro. Paulina for Spurs. Knocks a long, raking crossfield ball towards Kudus. From the lip of the centre circle. It's gone out of play on the far side for a Spurs throw. Everton have taken the lead at Wolves 2-1, and it's in Jai. Keenan Dewsbury Hall's been booked there for Everton. Throw in then for Spurs, level with the Bournemouth penalty area, right hand side, in front of the Bournemouth fans. And we're going to see a long throw here from Spurs as well. They've got 7 in the penalty area here, Spurs, but they've gone short. Kudus with his left hand taped up. Good play. Cross from Porro, in it comes. And they were lining up to head that one in, but Bournemouth won the header. Spurs have won the ball back into the Bournemouth penalty area, and they might break here. Ball through the middle. He's miles offside, Brooks. Miles offside. And Spurs have won it back, and Bournemouth have got a few committed forward here. And forward goes Johnson. Finds Richarlison on the left-hand side. He's up against Hill and loses possession. Foul on Evan-Nielsen. Referee lets it go because Tavernier could be through here, through the middle of the pitch. Heads it on towards Semenyo. I don't think read that. And Spurs have the ball back. It's like basketball.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Evan-Nielsen's lying on the ground after that challenge that you mentioned. And the home supporters are showing their disapproval to it, but
well, it was a foul.
It was a foul, yeah, certainly. He played the advantage. That came to nothing, but incredible, really. You know, you just look at the way that they break at times, Bournemouth. It's been so impressive what we've seen so far.
I mean, he was fouled, Evan-Nielsen, but Bournemouth had the advantage. So Simon Hooper was quite right to let the game go on, but he stayed down. He's back up on his feet now. He was always going to be fine. And Spurs have a free kick.
And do you know what, John? The play beforehand where David Brooks ran in an offside position, Evan Nielsen on the ball. If he had released it a fraction earlier, David Brooks was in his own half of the pitch and would not have been offside if he'd released the ball in his direction.
Yeah, it's a good spot. And here they go again. Bournemouth trying to pen Spurs in. Van der Ven brings the ball forward and he's just looking up, looking for options. Finds Johnson on the overlap. Spence trapped by Brooks. Was that a little nudge in the back? No. Spence has got the ball. Right foot cross into the penalty area. Trufair clears away right-footed, nodded back in by Johnson and away by Bournemouth. And Spurs have possession back on the halfway line. Lovely from Van der Ven. Squares it to Romero. Into the feet of Sarr. Chipped forward by Porro. Spurs lofted ball. Header won by Bournemouth. Foul. Bit clumsy that. Free kick for Bournemouth. Very, very clever that from Trufair.
It's a free kick that gets given every single time, John,
Slow
isn't
down,
it?
yeah.
You know, you're jogging back, a defender's jogging back with the ball at their feet towards their own goal or their own byline. They get a little nudge, not a foul necessarily in my opinion all the time, and maybe even in that situation there as well, but they go to ground and the officials always seem to give it in that situation. But I think Brooks on the other side a few moments earlier had to do better. He got to the ball first. He went to ground in a similar kind of scenario, but he was favourite to get to the ball, so he should have just stayed on his feet and played it.
8 minutes to half-time. Bournemouth leading 1-0. Flick on from Semenyo. Evan Nielsen's not going to get there, and it's a goal kick for Spurs. Ipswich have taken the lead against Derby. The lead 1-0, and Crawley are 2-0 up at Chesterfield. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. Keenan Dewsbury Hall with the assist for the Njai goal for Everton. Manchester United leading Burnley by a goal to nil, and here Bournemouth leading 1-0, and Spurs with possession on the right hand side. Challenge goes in from Senesi. Throw in for Spurs, right hand side near the halfway line.
Not for the first time, John. The crowd are getting upset, but the players on the pitch have got to match the intensity that the Bournemouth players are showing. They've been far head and shoulders above, you know, the two teams that play a very similar kind of style. They're the better of the sides doing it at the moment.
I think Bournemouth going in at half-time will be disappointed they haven't got more than one.
Definitely.
But there's enough quality in this Spurs side these days, and I do see a belief that they're going to score. As the ball's out towards Johnson, who plays the ball back inside, and it's given away. And now here at Bournemouth again, with a little ball from Brooks with the outside of his foot towards Evan Nielsen, who goes after Van der Ven. That's a good foot race. I think it was a little foul from Evan Nielsen. Simon Hooper recognised it, but said play on, you might as well, and Van der Ven is in possession, deep in his own half for Spurs. Good foot race that one, Evan Nielsen versus Van der Ven. It wasn't much in it, but Van der Ven was quicker.
It was. If I'd been involved in it, I think a hamstring would have gone on that occasion as well, John. That was too quick for me.
He is absolutely lightning, isn't he? More Premier League radio commentaries for you than ever before. 5 Live this season on BBC Sounds. Download the app right now for your smartphone or tablet and get all the very best coverage from us this season.
Just looking at again the Bournemouth backline, John, look, they're man for man. It just gives them that little bit of advantage on the press a little bit further up the pitch, but Spurs just can't get past that initial phase of the press. But if they do, it'd be interesting to see, because like you say, there's 3 Bournemouth defenders marking man for man. They've got Brennan Johnson out here, Richarlison and Kudus up the front line, Spurs, and if Spurs can just get it to them a little bit quicker and through that Bournemouth initial press, it'd be very, very interesting.
Expert analysis from Franny Benali on 5 Sports Extra. 5 minutes plus added time to half-time. That's a really nice touch inside to Bentancur. Tries to find Richarlison. Tyler Adams is there, and now he's back in possession on halfway. Lovely stop and go. Some of the football is ridiculous. The pace of it, the control, the passing, it really is brilliant at times from both sides. But Bournemouth are doing it better at the moment, and they lead 1-0.
Couldn't agree more, John. It's fabulous when you see 2 teams going at it like this.
Trufair with a cross left-footed into the penalty area, headed away by Spurs, only as far as Tavernier back to goal. 25 yards from goal, into Scott. Really good little toe in there from Kudus. And now Sarr. Sarr's off running towards halfway, towards Bentancur. Brooks almost nips in. The pace is incredible. You've got no time on the ball. Either team got no time on the ball. Paulinho with some time on the ball, but in his own half. Played forward, looking for the run of Spence. Takes a flick off a Bournemouth player, and they have possession, Bournemouth, in the right back position with Hill, who plays a long ball forward. He's on for Smith, who's gone off injured for Bournemouth. Romero with Evanilson for company, who has worked really hard. We mentioned earlier on he was standing offside a little bit earlier on. He's worked his socks off since then. He is credited with the goal at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is given as an own goal in the end. My commentator's eye said it was off target, the shot, as the ball is played down the left for Spurs towards Johnson, who fouls Hill, and it will be a free kick for Bournemouth in the right back position with 3 minutes to half time.
With you talking about the intensity and the pressure and the level that both sides are playing at, John, what it does do, when you are in possession of the football, your touch, your vision, your decision making has all got to be already almost in mind already. You can't take a fraction of a second on the ball.
Space here for Truffert down the left hand side. Semenyo's ball was a bit overhit. First time cross into the penalty area. Evanilson's header wide of Vicario's left hand post. Just didn't quite get enough on it. He leapt really well, but it was just behind him, so he couldn't get any power in it. Goal kick Spurs, and Cambridge have taken the lead against Newport in League 2. Portsmouth are ahead against Preston in the Championship. They lead 1-0. Lincoln are 1-0 up against Mansfield, and Coventry have taken the lead at Oxford United. Bristol City are now 3-1 up, having been 1-0 down at home to Hull. And you are up to date. Mark Chapman will be here to round everything up at half time for you. And then a little bit later, we're in the World Cup action. England versus Samoa in the Rugby World Cup from Franklin's Gardens. The Women's World Cup will be with Claire Thomas after this commentary. Ball's out of play. It's a throw in on the halfway line for Bournemouth, left hand side, leading by a goal to 0.
It's these kind of little mini breaks within the game, a set piece, a throw in, a free kick, when the players get their breather. That's when they get the little respite, the little recovery period, if you like, before they then go again. Because as we've seen, especially from Bournemouth today, every time that the ball is in play, their intensity, the levels that they've been playing at, has been outstanding to witness.
Scott fouled there by Sarr. 5 yards inside the Spurs half. Bournemouth have a free kick on the left hand side, and I think everyone, like you said, is just taking in some oxygen, taking in some air. Everton still leading 2-1 at Wolves. Manchester United still 1 up against Burnley, and Sunderland and Brentford are still goalless in the Premier League. Truffert is going to take this free kick left-footed. Plenty of Bournemouth players forward, drifted into the far post. Header won convincingly by Hill at the far post, but there wasn't a red and black shirt there. Brooks out to Hill again, still 4 waiting for a cross. Great block from Paulinho. Headed away, but only as far as Senesi, who's going to strike one. It hits the face, I think, of Sarr. And Bournemouth have still got possession with Truffert. It's got Semenyo outside him. There are 2 lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Truffert goes back inside to Scott, who's got a little bit of space. Lovely ball. Tavernier to the byline. Back across. Blocked. Corner for Bournemouth. Really good football. Excellent block again, because if it hadn't been blocked, I think, by Porro, I think it would have been a tap-in for Evanilson.
Patient build-up on this occasion. Not the quick break that we're used to seeing on many occasions from Bournemouth. Just patient around the 18-yard box. The run from Tavernier was spot on. Excellent ball through as well. But Spurs on that occasion had more than enough defenders back there to deal with the block.
It was Romero's block in the end. Corner for Bournemouth then on the far side. They've had a few from here. They've had a couple of sighters. Scott whips it in swinger, far post. No Bournemouth player there. It comes off a Spurs head. Throw in for Bournemouth on the right hand side, and I think they'll go for the long throw here. It's kind of making a bit of a comeback, the long throw, isn't it? Since the Rory Delap days with Stoke City, 2008, 9, 10. It's like having another set piece if you get someone who's good at it. It's going to be Hill then. It's level with the penalty spot, this, on the right. And there are 7 Bournemouth players in the penalty area. In it comes. Really good long throw, flat as well. Truffert saw his name up in lights there from 30 yards out and tried a volley, and it went miles over the crossbar He was never in the right position to strike it.
I don't think that would make his top 10, will it? That effort.
Just a bad decision, wasn't it? And you got that many players forward. Yeah,
there's so many bodies in front of you as well. The likelihood of it flying into the top corner or the bottom of the net is highly unlikely, isn't it? But he took his chance on that occasion, as we often see in those scenarios.
Norwich leading at Blackburn 1-0. Barnsley are 2-0 up now against Huddersfield in League One, and here's Jed Spence just over the halfway line in the Bournemouth half. Challenged by Brooks, throw in taken quickly. Richarlison should gather this, does. Lovely from Richarlison, manages to find a scuffed cross but doesn't reach Sarr. Cleared away by Bournemouth, throw in for Spurs. We're into added time at the end of the first half. There's 3 minutes of it and we've had 2, so we're on 47, 45 plus 2 if you like, and now Spurs are going to take their very own long throw here. They've lined everyone up in the penalty area, gone short in the end. Double bluff, Johnson, loads of space to cross, and it's a good looking cross, and Petrovic comes and punches one-handed, gets some good distance on it, but only as far as Kudus. Back inside to Porro aims a diagonal, it's overhit that. Going to be out for a throw-in, rather a goal kick to Bournemouth, and that'll be about it, I think, for the first half, which has been good, and Bournemouth lead. And Spurs and Thomas Frank will have a bit of thinking to do at half-time. Yeah, and a few conversations and the players to sort of shake themselves out of what we've seen from Spurs in this first 45 minutes. Bournemouth will be going down the tunnel much the happier, not just because they're leading the game, John, I think, in my opinion, but they've dominated it. They've been the much better side. They come here, they're fully deserving that 1-0 lead, and as you mentioned in comms a little bit earlier, we're feeling a little bit disappointed not to be having a bigger lead in this half. And that is half-time, and boos are a bit harsh from some of the Spurs fans. Bit harsh. They've not been that bad. There's certainly no lack of effort there. But Bournemouth have just been excellent, as you mentioned. When you've got a press that high and that effective, what do you do? Do you throw the tactics out the window and you decide to go long and try and play over the top of it? What do you do? I would say you'd have to go a little bit more direct. You've got someone like Richarlison up there who's, you know, a bit more of a presence. You know, he's just going to have to say to him, look, we need you to do a little bit of work holding the ball up, challenging for the ball if it's not a perfect ball into you, and maybe run the channels a little bit, just go a little bit more direct, just to try and get the players that are making the press coming on top of you drop off a little bit more, because they won't. If you think you're going a little bit more direct, they're not going to keep making that press. When you've got the incentive of players playing out all the time, you're more willing to go and close it down every single time as well. So if they go longer, they'll drop off even if just a yard or two after a while. But that might be the enough time and space that Spurs will need to then start playing through Bournemouth. So just a reminder then, at half-time here, Tottenham trailing to Bournemouth by a 1-0. Evan Nielsen in the 5th minute of the game. Well, I'm not sure his shot was on target. Sorry if you've got him in your fantasy football teams, but it might be one of those they have a look at in the future. It was on the break. Big deflection past Vicario in the Spurs goal. And they've had other chances in the game. Semenyo with a header over the crossbar, probably the best one they had in that half. Elsewhere, Manchester United leading Burnley by a 0-0 in the Premier League. Sunderland 0-0 with Brentford, and Everton leading 2-1 at Wolves. We'll be back for second half commentary. We'll cross over now to 5 Live and Mark Chapman.
And Ahmed, from about 7 yards out, opened up his left boot and put it over the top. The second goal was there, surely.
It was there. It was Burnley who had the momentum. It was a good block initially at the edge of the area from Xerxes. Then they countered quick. Ahmed the press. Xerxes backing it up. Jayden Anthony making a mistake. And then it flicked inside. Xerxes, a nice weighted pass from Brumo just down the right. Just puts it inside. It bounces. It wasn't the easiest. Some people say it's an absolute sitter, as it just drops before Ahmed as he comes with that left foot. He doesn't catch it right. Big miss. A big opportunity wasted.
Half-time report then from Tottenham, Chris Coles.
Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1. Evan Nielsen's deflected shot over Vicario. The advantage should be greater. Bournemouth have been much the better. Grumbles from the Spurs faithful on the half-time whistle. Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1.
Manchester United could be out of sight here, but they're not. But they are coming forward again. And this is Mbeumo. Mbeumo passes the ball. It might fall to Xerxes. It came off an outstretched leg of Ekdal, and he stumbled and he fumbled. And in the end, it was picked up by Dubravka. and had it gone all the way through, I think it was Bruno Fernandes who was actually running in, who would have had an unmarked into the penalty area. It will just not fall for Manchester United, that second goal.
Well, there's so many errors. Desperate defender, Dubravka just going down to one knee, just drops in front of him, doesn't it? And you're thinking, Ekdal, what are you doing? How can you not get it away? How can you not move your feet? Scott Parker will be saying, please can half-time come quickly. This is a good diagonal ball.
Over the top, dropped over the right shoulder of Jadon Anthony and ran all the way through to Altay's. Manchester United in stoppage time are still 1-0 up. Now the break at Molineux. Pat Murphy.
Everton lead 2-1. Beto, Hwang equalised for Wolves. Unai made it 2-1. Grealish outstanding. Wolves 1, Everton 2.
Match of the day tonight, BBC One at 10:20 for extended highlights and analysis. The goals will be available at 8 o'clock through the BBC iPlayer and the BBC Sport website and app, if you so wish. As Ekdal floats a long ball, strikes the top of the head by Lyle Foster and goes all the way out down towards the corner flag in front of that travelling support for Burnley. There are a few empty red seats in that Burnley travelling support in that right corner of ours, as we now are almost into the 8th minute of stoppage time here.
It's difficult to play that long diagonal past Burnley. Lyle Foster is getting frustrated. He's not really getting any service because of the system, the setup that they're in. Just sees that there. He's thinking, can I get something? Can I get a half chance?
Bouncing ball for De Ligt to head the way. And then Hannibal will head it back. Like head tennis at the minute. Shaw and then Mount. Ekdal steps forward out of defence, clips it forward. Swept to safety by Dalot, playing as a left wing back. Estev is tight behind Mbeumo, and there is the half-time whistle. Well, Manchester United's lead could be far greater as it is. Despite having a penalty overruled through VAR, they are 1-0 up through a Josh Cullen own goal. So in fact, we're still to actually see a Manchester United player score in the Premier League this season, although they have had their chances, Michael Brown.
Yes, they have. Manchester United started brightly with pace, with intensity, trying to play forward wherever possible. The excitement and the drama was those couple of sort of penalty appeals, and then it was all about the delivery. Casemiro yet again involved, making the difference. It was unfortunate as it ricocheted off Cullen. Dubravka did his best with a wonderful save. His goal line technology took over. Burnley have looked shaky, they've looked wobbly. It could have been worse for them.
It certainly could. Manchester United 1, Burnley 0 is the half-time score.
And elsewhere in the Premier League at half-time, Tottenham 0, Bournemouth 1, Sunderland 0, Brentford 0, Wolves 1, Everton 2. At lunchtime, Chelsea beat Fulham by 2-0. Earlier in the Championship, Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 0. 4 wins from 4 for Rob Edwards' side. Stoke have lost their 100% record, though, beaten 1-0 at home by West Brom, who are still unbeaten this season in the Championship. QPR 3, Charlton 1 was how the other early game finished. In the 3 o'clocks, let's start at Oxford, where free-scoring Coventry lead at the break. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, by 2-1, Mark. Joy to watch Coventry, and they deserve the lead. Haji Wright put them in front. The lead lasting 7 minutes when a free kick was spilt by Carl Rushworth. Will Lancashire, he pounced and equalised. Coventry responded, though, through a Victor Torp direct free kick. Coventry not as clinical this week. They should have had 3 or 4 by now. Half-time, Oxford 1, Coventry City 2.
At 10-3, James Gregg said he was looking forward to Millwall Wrexham. Now?
Not so much, Mark. I will say it's been a decent game. Wrexham did take a bit of time to get into this one. Kiefer Moore, though, has proved, as he often does, to be a bit of a nuisance in those last few minutes prior to that half-time whistle going. We're still waiting for ink on the score sheet here. Millwall on top, you'd say. Millwall 0, Wrexham 0.
Bristol City have come from behind to have a comfortable lead at the break. Owain.
Bristol City 3, Hull City 1, with the odds of an away win stacked against Hull. Gelhardt gave the visitors an early lead, doing a frantic opening 10 minutes. The Robins quickly settled down and deservedly ahead at the break. Emil Rees scoring his first goals for the club and could have scored a first half hat-trick. Anis Mehmeti also scored in the first half and should have got a brace. Hull do look dangerous on the counter-attack, but does seem like a long way back for the Tigers at the moment. Bristol 3, Hull 1.
Next to Rich Wolfenden at Watford Southampton.
Watford 0, Southampton 1 is the score at the break after a deep corner to the back post. Nathan Wood's knockdown header was smashed in from just a couple of yards out by Cameron Archer, his second in 5 days. Watford have looked very, very flat. Something needs to change at the break. 1-0 they trail.
Next to Hillsborough, Naz Premji.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea City 0, an instantly forgettable 45 minutes, very few moments of quality. Home chances, if you want to call them that, for Barry Bannon, Jamal Lowe and Olaf Kabatski. At the other end, Gonzalo Franco hit a low drive wide, and a goal-bound flick from Vapotnik, easy for Ethan Horvath in the home goal. Both sides need to do better. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea City 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship at the break, Blackburn 0, Norwich 1. Blackburn reduced to 10. Sean McLaughlin sent off for a professional foul, presumably the resulting penalty. That gave away the resulting penalty, which was scored by Josh Sargent for his 5th of the season. Ipswich lead Derby by a goal to 0 at the break. Jacob Greaves has got that. And at Fratton Park, Portsmouth 1, Preston 0. Andre Dazelle with that goal there. Earlier in League One, Cardiff 4, Plymouth 0. Doncaster 1, Rotherham 0. At 3 o'clock, we're at Oakwell, where the home side have had a good first half. Betty Glover.
Brilliant first half. Barnsley 2, Huddersfield 0. Nightmare afternoon this for Huddersfield. Nightmare for their keeper, Owen Goodman. Fumbled the ball for Barnsley's opener. Keeler Dunn pounced on that. Then he got shown a red card for racing out of his box and catching McGoldrick in the face. To give Barnsley their credit, though, they have been absolutely brilliant going forward. And just before the break, Connell scored their second goal. His strike taking a deflection, rolling in across the goal. But I don't think this could get any worse for Huddersfield, Mark. Barnsley 2, Huddersfield 0.
Blackpool have had a dreadful start to the season. They've lost 5 of their first 6 in all competitions, but Steve Bruce's side do lead at the break at home to Bolton by a goal to 0. Bradford City 1, AFC Wimbledon 1. Burton are 2-0 down at home to Luton. Exeter 1, bottom of the table, Peterborough 0. Jaden Wareham with his second of the season there for Gary Caldwell's side. Goalless between Leyton Orient and Northampton. Lincoln lead Mansfield by a goal to 0. Sonny Bradley got it. He's subsequently been sent off. The half-time whistle still to go at Sincil Bank. Reading 0, Port Vale 0. Stevenage, who are in third, have had a great start to the season. They lead Wycombe by a goal to 0 at the break, and it's Wigan 0, Stockport 1. Earlier, 10-man Barrow beaten 1-0 at home by Fleetwood in League 2, and the Leaders Crew were beaten 3-0 at home by Swindon, who go into second, level on points with their side they beat this lunchtime. At 3 o'clock, we're at Stadium MK. Nikesh Ragani.
Where it's MK Dons 0, Walsall 0. Walsall started this game looking like the side that spent most of last season at the top of League 2. For the first half an hour, they were good in possession. They created chances to the best couple falling to the left boot of Charlie Lakin. One shot saved, the other going just over the bar. Unbeaten MK Dons came back into it towards the end of the half, but despite lots of set pieces, they just couldn't score. Both sides lacking a bit of killer instinct. It's MK Dons 0, Walsall 0.
Elsewhere in the 3 o'clocks in League 2, Colchester can't win at home this season, but they're unbeaten away, and they lead at the break again at Barnet. Jack Tucker's second of the season has put them 1-0 up there. It's goalless between Bromley and Harrogate. Cambridge lead Newport by a goal to 0. Chesterfield 0, Crawley 2. Harry McCurdy's got both the Crawley goals, one from the penalty spot. Grimsby, after the high of beating Manchester United in the week, are being brought back down to earth by Bristol Rovers. Grimsby 0, Bristol Rovers 1 at the break. Goalless between Oldham and Gillingham, and Shrewsbury and Accrington. And Tranmere scored just before half-time through Amari Patrick. That's his 4th of the season, and they lead Notts County by a goal to 0. Earlier in the National League, Solihull Moors 1, Southend 2. At 3 o'clock, Braintree 0, Forest Green Rovers 0. Eastleigh 0, Altrincham 1. FC Halifax 1, Yeovil 0. Gateshead 1, Aldershot 2. Goalless between Hartlepool and Boreham Wood, and Morecambe and Woking, and Sutton and Carlisle. Truro are 1-0 up at home to Boston, and it's Wealdstone 0, Rochdale 2. Into the Scottish Premiership, Kenny Crawford is watching Livingston against Hearts.
And the half-time score is Livingston 1, Hearts 0. The visitors came along the M8 to West Lothian aiming to grab the 3 points, which should put them top of the Premiership, but despite a bright start, they'll be taking none as things stand. That's because Livy's Lewis Smith used his pace to dart in from the right-hand side and score a 20-yard low strike in at Xander Clark's near post. Half-time, Livingston 1, Hearts 0.
Also at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Motherwell and Kilmarnock, and they're level at 1-1. And tomorrow on 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, commentary of Rangers Celtic from Ibrox with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. In the Scottish Championship today, Arbroath 0, Edrionians 0, Ayr 0, Queen's Park 1, Dunfermline 1, Ross County 1, Partick 2, Wraith 2, 2 and St Johnstone 0, Morton 1. In League 1, Inverness 0, Alloa 0, Montrose 2, Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Stenhousemuir 0, East 5-0. And in League 2, goalless between Clyde and Elgin. Edinburgh are 2-0 up at Dumbarton. East Kilbride lead Forfar by 3-0. And Spartans against Annan and Stirling versus Stranraer are both goalless. Earlier in the Rugby Union Women's World Cup, Canada thrashed Wales 42-0. Scotland are leading Fiji. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, and they've come out in the second half and spent pretty much the whole time defending their try line. But Fiji spilling the ball at crucial moments on several occasions, and we've had stoppages for injuries as well. So it's been pretty stop-start, but Scotland holding on at the moment for a place in the knockout stages. Scotland 17, Fiji 5, 50 minutes played.
England-Samoa is at 5 o'clock. You can watch it on BBC Two. You can listen to it on Sports Extra. James Burridge.
And the Red Roses overwhelming favourites for this one, Mark. It is the perfect opportunity, therefore, for John Mitchell to rotate. He's made 13 changes to the side that beat the USA. The big news being captain Zoe Allcroft ruled out with a knee injury until the quarterfinals. So Marley Packer takes the captaincy armband again. Samoa have described the game as mission impossible. They haven't won a World Cup match since 2006. They're a part-time team who've had to crowd fund to make it here. They lost their opening game to Australia 73-0. It could be another chastening afternoon.
In Super League this afternoon, Hull FC 0, Leeds 24 at half-time. Northern Superchargers women have 1 foot in the 100 final, wouldn't you say, Ali?
Absolutely, and London Spirit are already 3 down, chasing that unlikely target, massive target of 215, a record total set by the Superchargers. We'd never had a double 100, 200 scored in this competition before. An 18-year-old Davina Perrin dazzled with that 101 off 43 balls, the joint second fastest 100 for a woman ever seen in any major league or T20.
Welcome back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs have gone into the huddle at the start of this second half, with Vicario shouting some words of encouragement to his Spurs teammates. They trail 1-0 to Bournemouth at half-time here. So both teams are out. Bournemouth done their little warm-ups. Tavernier's got both fingers pointing to the sky and then crosses his chest. Evan Nielsen's deflected goal in the 5th minute separates the two sides. But Bournemouth with a better team, no doubt about it, in the first half, and could well have had more. I mean, Spurs weren't bad. Spurs were all right. They got booed by some fans at half-time, but they definitely didn't warrant that. Bournemouth just had a really good 45 minutes there. I wonder what Thomas Frank will do about it. It's the high press that they've been struggling with, and already Vicario launches long towards Richarlison. So I wonder whether that is what you said at half-time, Franny. They might have to go a little bit more direct.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised just to try and... There's going to be a reaction. I think, Iriola would have been saying that, and the players themselves, the Bournemouth players, you come out ready for the second half after how well they did in the first half, but you say, let's expect a reaction from this Spurs side. They'll be coming out and they'll have, for 5, 10, 15 minutes, however long it's going to take, we've got to withstand that sort of pressure that comes on us, and whatever we face, and then we'll stay in the game, hopefully. But they don't want to get caught cold, Bournemouth, that's for sure, because you're going to, for certain, get some kind of, or we hope you would get some certain reaction from this Spurs team.
Bournemouth in possession with Senesi. Plays a long ball forward for Tavernier. Little nod down towards Semenyo, who strikes it. Brilliant save. That is a top draw save from Vicario. Semenyo thought he'd scored. He hit it so early and so hard, and he got down brilliantly. That is a top save.
Couldn't agree more, John. Fabulous play all round, wasn't it? And as you say, Semenyo just caught it so sweet. He gets there ahead of Palhinha, and he thinks he probably has scored his second of the day to put his team second up. It's low, but Vicario gets down, gets his left hand to it and pushes it past the post.
That is a big chance. Well, it was a half chance, which Semenyo did really well with, left-footed. Short corner for Bournemouth. Into the feet of Tavernier. Got it tangled up in his feet a little bit. Back to Brooks. Brooks dinks it in. Far post. No one there. Misses everyone. And Spurs will be able to clear in the right back position, long through the middle of the pitch. Header won by Bournemouth, who again have started well at the start of this second half. Truffert. Spurs with the press. Scott. Best game I've seen him have for Bournemouth. Little ball towards Evan Nielsen. Truffert was caught late by Kudus. Simon Hooper's brought it back, and it's a free kick to Bournemouth in the left back spot, and he limps away. True fair.
In fairness to Simon Cooper, the referee, John, he's trying to let things go, isn't he? Some of the Spurs officials are clearly upset that he's pulling that back, or that he's given a foul in the first place, but he is trying to let the play on, and as players, that's what you want, I think.
5 Sports Extra from the BBC. John Akers and Franny Benali here as the ball over the top, looking for Semenyo for Bournemouth. Oh, lovely first touch. He looks so good at the minute. I know I keep saying it, but here's Semenyo, step over into the penalty area. Gets it back to Truffert, corner of the penalty area. Cross comes in. Well intercepted by Spurs. Out for a throw-in by the corner flag, left-hand side. Bournemouth fans all in the corner there. Red and black. Applauding.
Antoine Semenyo is just absolutely bossing Pedro Porro. He hasn't been the best on the ball at times, Porro, but the power, the strength, the speed of Semenyo, he just can't live with so far in this game.
He looks a level above. I watched him a lot last season, Semenyo, and he started looking fitter, sharper. Long throw into the penalty area for Bournemouth. Overhead kick. I think he felt he was touched there. Evan Nilsson maybe with a chance. Good save at his feet by Vicario. Still not clear. Hits the crossbar. Bournemouth have hit the bar. They've still got possession with Semenyo. Angle, shot, blocked. Spurs will clear. Iraola wants a penalty, or at least a check, as Semenyo fouls Richarlison, and he could go here. He's already been booked. What do you think?
Well, Simon Hooper is walking over very slowly. He's clearly thinking about it. And the supporters are making their feelings known. He could be in trouble.
It was clumsy.
He's let him off. I think he's let him off.
Spurs
it was
fans.
clumsy. It was exactly that. I don't think there's really enough in the foul. Richarlison has gone to ground quite easy, but there was so much going on there, wasn't there? And it was David Brooks that, I think, after Evan Nilsson's shot and then save, that hit the crossbar. There was a bit of everything going on. As you say, a big penalty appeal as well from Bournemouth before all that actually happened.
But they're not going to check it, or if they have checked it, then we play on.
I think it might have been for a high boot, was it? I think the overhead kick, whoever it was that tried putting it back into the box, got caught.
Senesi, lovely feet, takes it off Richarlison, goes on a run. He's run 30 yards into the feet of Tavernier, but Paulino is stronger for Spurs. Oh, and he's so quick there, Hill, to intercept. The Spurs fans don't like that. There's certainly some atmosphere inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now, because they feel a little bit of injustice here, Spurs. I've got to say, once he gives the free kick on Semenyo, it was borderline whether it was a free kick or not. I think he is lucky to get away without being yellow carded, if he thinks it's a foul in the first place. There was so little in it, Franny, as you said, but once he gives the free kick and he's on the break, Richarlison, it's like, oof.
Yeah, I think the fact that it was a minimal sort of foul is what went in Semenyo's favour. Had it been more of a challenge and a tug back or more contact on Richarlison, I think he could well have gone and received the second yellow card, but probably I would say he's got that one just right. You know, clearly the majority of the supporters in the stadium today won't agree with that, but I think he's got everything pretty much spot on so far.
Tranmere 1, Notts County 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea 1 in the Championship, and Bradford have equalised at home to Wimbledon. I'll keep you up to date with all the scores, all the goals as they go in this afternoon. Spurs with the throw on halfway, left-hand side. Down the line it goes. Bournemouth win the header. Spurs have possession back. The ball's up in the air. Head tennis. Adams into the feet of Richarlison. Lovely touch. And Tavernier is away. Down the right. There is cover for Spurs. He'll have to stop and check. Evan Nilsson's gone with him. Checks back onto that brilliant left foot of his. Little angle ball. Brooks. Brilliantness from Bournemouth. Pulls it back. Well done. Well done to Spurs. They got themselves in a really good defensive position there. Bentancur was alive to it and read the ball back in really well from Brooks. What a game this is. How we've only had one goal, I've got no idea. Spurs now coming forward down the left-hand side. Bournemouth leading 1-0. 7 minutes of the second half gone. Spurs have got it with Spence, level with the penalty area. Back to Paulina. Now on the right, Bentancur whips in a cross. Petrovic claims. And Petrovic will bowl it out. to Evan-Nielsen, midway inside the Spurs half. Now Tavernier. Truffert, Tavernier again, taken off him. Then Tavernier takes it back after a slip from Kudus. And now Scott into the feet of Truffert. He's got Evan-Nielsen on his outside. There's so many forwards, so many good runs, and this is one of them from Brooks in the penalty area. Brilliant from Brooks, and another great save from Vicario. Away to his left. It wasn't as difficult as the first one, but it's another really sharp save. Did nothing wrong there, Brooks. Great first touch to shift it, and another fine save, Franny Benali.
Certainly was, wasn't it? So much going on, such a great game to watch and commentate on. But you made a very good point at half-time, John, when we were off air. You said Bournemouth were that impressive and pressed Spurs that well in the first half. Can they sustain that for the entire 90 minutes? We will see. That is going to be the big question mark, I think, because if the gaps start opening up, these Spurs players will certainly sort of exploit that kind of space and time that they'll get on the ball.
The only thing they have got now, they've got Cliver and Christie back fit, Bournemouth, is they have got like for likes, or just go in and do the same. Know the drill, don't they? And we're going to see our first changes here for Spurs. And Paulinho has gone off, and Odobert is on, and we're also going to see Lucas Bergvall introduced to the action. So a double change for Spurs, 9 minutes into the second half, with Bournemouth leading by 1-0, and Spurs have a throw on the far side. Bergvall's got a good long throw, and he's going to go straight over to take it. So Brennan Johnson's the other player to have gone off. Paulinho and Brennan Johnson have gone off. In comes the long throw from Spurs, headed away by Diakite. There's a shot from distance from Porro, ricochets off the legs of Evan-Nielsen, almost knocks him off his feet. Frank and Brennan Johnson exchange a high five.
Thomas Frank has not waited around to that 60-minute mark to make him a change, where you see most managers do it in games. John has it. He's given them not even 10 minutes, and he's made those two changes, so he feels that his team needs some help from the bench.
Wimbledon are back ahead against Bradford. Long throw from Bergvall it's going to be, level with the 18-yard box of Bournemouth right hand side. Six Spurs white shirts in the penalty area. Bergvall flat and long and headed away, but only as far as Odobert gets his first touch to Sarr. And now Odobert with a chance to cross, but goes back to Spence. Sarr again, another chance to cross, little Cruyff turn, back out to the left hand side to Spence, who puts in a high floating hanging cross, and Bergvall can't control it. It was horribly overhit, and it's going to be a throw in to Bournemouth, which will relieve a little bit of pressure. They had a good little spell there, Spurs, and goals going in elsewhere. Everton have got a third. Keenan Shrewsbury Hall has got it, so goal assist for him and a yellow card. It was one of those I considered putting in actually this week. And Jack Grealish has now got 2 assists in that game as they lead 3-1 at Wolves. Wolves 1, Everton 3, and Wrexham have taken a 1-0 lead at Millwall. Spurs in possession, 5 yards inside the Bournemouth half. Into the feet from Kudus to Richarlison, and now Sarr and Kudus again, Truffert with him. And they lost Kirkes in the summer, and to me Truffert at the moment looks like a very, very able replacement for £14 million from Rennes.
Agree with you, John. He's had a good game today. Kudus is a lively player to come up against, but he's stood firm. He's bombed forward whenever he got an opportunity as well, which is what's expected under this Areola side and format and style of play.
Scott nips in, wins possession, but Tavernier isn't close enough to win it, and you're just starting to see a few tired Bournemouth legs, I think, out there at the moment after they pressed so well in the first half, and Spurs are just starting to get a foothold in the game. But there's another interception. It was a poor pass rather than a brilliant interception from Tyler Adams, but Bournemouth are back in possession with Senesi. Senesi chips the ball to Semenyo, can't bring it under control, and Romero tidies up back to his goalkeeper.
This is where the momentum and the shift of a game can happen, John, isn't it? You know, just that little yard or two that Bournemouth just step off the intensity and the press that little bit, that can make all the difference.
And with that, Andoni Iraola has just sent the subs to warm up, just literally as you said it. Adams into the feet of Scott. I think that's a foul. Yeah, referee says yes, Simon Hooper, and it's a free kick to Spurs, who've taken it quickly on the halfway line. In possession with Romero. He's wondering what to do with it. Got the ball at his feet. It's a good ball to Bergvall. Crashing into the challenge is Senesi. And I think Bergvall accidentally got a little piece of Senesi there, and it's a free kick to Bournemouth.
Yeah, not for the first time this afternoon. The Bournemouth players are snapping into a challenge. The home support were getting a little bit frustrated with Romero being on the ball and not picking out a pass, but Senesi was in quick with the challenge. Bergvall, no real intent there. I don't think it was just a little bit of a late challenge and a correct decision from the officials again.
So, free kick for Bournemouth, leading 1-0. It's hard when to know to draw a breath. Barely used any stats, which is a sign of a good game. Bergvall with a good toe in for Spurs. Live at the centre circle, they've got it with Bentancur. Down the left, it's aimed towards Odobert, but can't keep it in play. And Brooks is feeling his foot there. He got trodden on, and he says he's all right. I think he's just given a thumbs up. One thing we haven't had chance to speak about yet is the introduction of Xavi Simons to the crowd just before the game from RB Leipzig, and where he'll fit into this Spurs team as Bournemouth come down the right. Good defending from Van de Ven. He turns away from 2, 3, 4 players and then is uprooted by Tyler Adams. And the referee, Simon Hooper, just says calm down. He was just too quick for Adams, he was too quick for everyone.
It was a fabulous bit of play from him, wasn't it? Like you say, he just went past a few challenges, got caught by Adams in the end, just, well, minimally. But it's just his momentum, I think, that sort of took him over.
It was a proper Superman dive. That's overhit from Spurs, and it will be a goal kick for Bournemouth.
But coming back to the introduction of their new signing, John, you know, like I think he's played sort of the 10. He's played on the left and scored a number of goals and provided assists there. He can play across almost any of the 3 or the attacking positions, can't he? But he'll be a massive addition to this club, and I think it's not just the fact of what he'll bring. It's the scenario of missing out on Morgan Gibbs-White. Spurs, it's the fact that they missed out on Eze as well. You know, they're bringing in a player of real quality now, and that'll give the club a big lift.
Here's Porro, right hand side, good looking cross, overhit though, looking for Odobert, and it'll be a throw in for Bournemouth on the far side, level with the penalty spot. Half an hour plus added time for Spurs to get one, and we've just seen Xavi Simons in the crowd with his hair braided and a big gold medallion round his neck, just taking a swig out of a white mug, and then a close-up of Daniel Levy as well. Over £50 million paid for Xavi Simons. As the ball's hoofed up in the air. We've not seen the ball in the air too often in this game, let me tell you. It's been played on the ground, and it's been fast and frenetic and fantastic to watch, and it's hard to believe we've only got the 1 goal as the ball's played forward by Spurs, and Senesi's got a little finger in the eye there, according to the referee Simon Hooper, and the Spurs fans, as you can hear, are not happy about it. From his reaction, it looked like he's just caught a finger in the eye or a knuckle or something, accidentally though. It's
not a huge amount, I don't think, if there was any contact there.
It's a little elbow.
Might have been caught with Kudus' right elbow, but I think it's just this build-up of decisions and frustration from the home support, and the fact that their side are behind is the big reason why. And their players as well, they're not seeing their team sort of really outfight or outmatch the opposition today.
Burnley have equalised at Manchester United, and that game is over on 5 Live, and here's Scott for Bournemouth. It opened up for him there, and now here's Adams, thinks about shooting, gets it to Tavernier on the right hand side. Hill, and now a little ball inside from Truffert towards Hill, and who did that come off? Came off a Spurs defender, and the Spurs fans don't like that either. That was borderline, and it is a corner for Bournemouth on the far side. So Lyle Foster has equalised for Burnley at Old Trafford. What a horrible week so far for Manchester United. But Manchester United have gone back ahead in that game, I am just hearing. So we'll wait and see for confirmation on that one. But it's over on 5 Live right now. Obviously I can't hear it. Sunderland are 0-0 with Brentford. Everton are 3-1 up at Wolves, and earlier Chelsea beat Fulham by 2-0. 62 minutes gone. Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1. Evanilson with the goal. In comes the left-footed corner, headed behind. It'll be another corner from the same side.
And those substitutes you mentioned, John, that Iraola sent out to warm up, he's going to be bringing a couple of those on, but he's just waiting for this corner to be taken before he introduces Christie and Kluivert by the looks of it. So he's going to freshen his team up a little bit.
In comes the corner, headed away at the near post by Spurs, and it's cleared away towards halfway, and it'll be a throw to Bournemouth on the halfway line right hand side. Blackpool 1, Bolton 1. Luton are 3-0 up at Burton now. Northampton are 1-0 up at Leyton Orient. We're going to see our first changes here, and it is going to be Christie who's going to come on. Brooks is coming off, and we're going to see Amin Adli come on for Bournemouth. So Christie and Adli onto the pitch, and off go Scott and Brooks. So that'll be like for like. Adli will go out onto the right hand side where Brooks was, and Christie, same sort of player as Scott. And he's had a brilliant game, Scott, I think today. He's best in a Bournemouth shirt, as I've said so far, as Christie gets an early touch and Bournemouth are in possession with their goalkeeper Petrovic, who rolls it out to Truffert. What are we going to see in this last 27 minutes plus added time? Bournemouth leading by a goal to 0. Truffert goes back to his goalkeeper. Bradford 2, Wimbledon 2. Notts County have taken the lead at Tranmere. Exeter are 2-0 up at home to Peterborough. Watford have equalised at home to Southampton. And it's a free kick for an offside flag that's gone up to Spurs midway inside their own half. Northampton winning at Leyton Orient. Kevin Sharda's missed a penalty for Brentford at Sunderland. And Manchester United are 2-1 ahead, and Burmo is scored there, and that's a free kick for Bournemouth. Jed Spence on Adli, and he's not happy about it, Spence, and he's going to get a yellow card for that challenge. Just a couple of yards in from Bournemouth's right hand touchline, midway inside their half, and Adli still down on the deck. And I'm just watching the replay. And he kind of stamps down Spence. I think he gets a little bit of the ball and then a bit of Adli as well, but the referee's obviously said that he was endangering his opponent with the method of the tackle. Franny, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the correct decision, John, a yellow card for that. The fact that he took some of the ball as well, and it wasn't really high either, was it? You know, by the time he made the challenge, it was pretty low, albeit he went in with his stud showing somewhat on Adli. I'd say that's the right call.
Senesi, midway inside his own half of Bournemouth, plays a long ball over the top looking for Semenyo, who jumps over Vicario, who comes out to claim it. And Vicario just gives it away, gives it to Adams, and now Christie running into the penalty area. In comes the low cross, chance, far post side netting. I think the Bournemouth fans thought that Tavernier had scored perhaps from that angle, but he put it right-footed into the side netting, was his weaker foot. It was a tight angle, but another good chance for Bournemouth goes begging.
Certainly is, but it was Spurs that, with their own downfall, try and play out from the back from the keeper, and it goes straight to the Bournemouth side, and then they break, and they break quick, and it falls to Tavernier, as you say. Evanilson just gets the ball deflected away from him, off Romario, so he's unable to get a final touch on it.
He maybe should do better. He maybe should hit the target from there, Tavernier. You're being ultra critical. I think if it's on his left foot, I think he hits the target. I think it's only because he's on his right, and he's running at some pace as well, as that's a foul by Sarr in midfield on Tavernier, and it's a free kick for Bournemouth 10 yards inside the Spurs half, centre field. Manchester United 2, Burnley 1, Sunderland 0, Brentford 0. Bournemouth leading 1-0 here at Spurs. Goal in the 5th minute, Evanilson deflected. Everton 3-1 up at Wolves. Adams plays it short to Hill. Now Tavernier loves this kind of position. Tavernier to strike one, but he didn't get that one right. He was slightly behind him and he put it over the crossbar, and it's a goal kick for Tottenham Hotspur. Norwich leading 1-0 at Blackburn. Blackburn are down to 10. Bristol City 3-1 up against Hull. They were 1-0 down. Derby have equalised at Ipswich. Wrexham 1-0 up at Millwall. Coventry 2-1 up at Oxford United. Portsmouth to goal up against Preston. Swansea leading Sheffield United as Richarlison goes down on the halfway line. He doesn't get the free kick, slams both hands into the turf. Isn't happy about it. No Solanke on the bench as Semenyo is away here down the left hand side, tries to square it. Really good play from Porro at right back, really good defending. It's done well there against Semenyo. Semenyo's won it back off him, and Semenyo's into the penalty area, left hand side, low cross straight at the goalkeeper. They're getting into some positions, Bournemouth, but they have defended well at times here, I think, Spurs, as Odebear is in possession. Lib of the centre circle, done really well. It's probably foul, but play on, says Simon Hooper. Here goes Porro down the right, Kudus outside him. Early ball in, Richarlison's first sighter, Bergvall, he's got space, deflected straight at the keeper. Petrovic pats it down to the ground in his lime green goalkeeping jersey. That's one of the best sighters they've had, Spurs.
Yeah, good pattern of play, wasn't it? And it all started from Perraud. Said how he's finding it hard against Semenyo this afternoon, but he did brilliantly defending, and then it was him that delivered the ball into the box. I think it was Senesi, just got enough of a touch on the shot from Bergvall that took the pace off the ball, but great intensity from both sides now in this game.
Truefair wins the free kick. Fans don't like that. I think they feel that the referee, Simon Hooper, hasn't had the best game from their point of view. The Spurs fans this afternoon, they've been whipped into a frenzy as Notts County leading 2-1 at Tranmere. Exeter are now 3-0 up against Peterborough. Portsmouth are leading 1-0 against Preston as there's a bit of treatment going on for an injury, and Porro takes on some drinks from a big yellow plastic water bottle down in front of us, squirts the water into his mouth, and we're going to see another change here for Thomas Frank and for Spurs. We're going to see Destiny Udogie, who's been out with a knee injury. Going to see him introduced. Semenyo inside his own half, chip ball down the line looking for Evan Nielsen, but it's slightly overhit. He tries to win the ball from Romero. He's cool and calm under possession and takes the ball into the Bournemouth half and then spreads a crossfield ball, but I think that's overhit and it's all the way out for a goal kick for Bournemouth, and the seconds tick away, and we've got 20 minutes plus added time remaining, and Bournemouth are leading 1-0. Swansea are 1-0 up at Sheffield Wednesday. Watford 1-1 with Southampton. Barnsley leading 2-0 against Huddersfield, who are down to 10 men. Blackpool 1, Bolton 1, Bradford 2, Wimbledon 2. Luton leading 3-0 at Burton. They want them to hurry up here, taking this goal kick, Bournemouth, the Spurs fans. Exeter 3-0 up against Peterborough. Northampton leading 1-0 at Leyton Orient. 0-0 between Reading and Port Vale. Stevenage leading Wycombe by a goal to 0. Stockport early goal, 1-0 up at Wigan, and Lincoln down to 10, but 1-0 up at home to Mansfield. And we're going to see Udogie come on here, as it was a free kick for a foul near the halfway line from a Bournemouth player on a Spurs player. So Spurs free kick a few yards inside their own half as Porro comes off, and on comes Destiny Udogie in the right back spot. In fact, Spencer's come across here now, and it's a free kick which the goalkeeper's going to take, so Spurs are throwing everyone forward here. Derby are leading at Ipswich 2-1, and Gillingham are taking the lead at Oldham by a goal to 0. Free kick then, which Vicario's going to take, launches it high to the far post. Richarlison is under it, wins the header, and Petrovic lets it go, and it's a goal kick for Bournemouth, and the seconds tick further away, and we've got 19 minutes. And Burnley have just equalised at Manchester United. Manchester United 2, Burnley 2.
I'm just wondering whether Bournemouth just slightly, they're taking their time, and it looks like they're,
Petrovic is booked.
Petrovic has been booked by Simon Hooper for slow play, and the supporters probably helped that decision a little bit as well. But I was just going to say, how will Bournemouth now approach these last 20 or so minutes? Are they going to sit back a little bit more? They're going to keep pressing as they have done, which seems to have been the best option to match Spurs and take them on so far.
The battle in midfield's been extraordinary. Just players just so quick with the ball, so many little fouls in there. I mean, the number of fouls today It must be the most in the by the end of the game, it might be the most in the Premier League so far this season.
It's not been dirty as such,
it's just been the
committed
first touch, and people have been so committed to winning the ball back in midfield. It was foul by Sarr, and it's a free kick to Bournemouth, and it's central. It's between 35 and 40 yards out, and they've got players in wide areas who want the ball, especially on the right hand side. Adams is over it, and so is Tavernier. Evan-Nielsen standing offside, and Spurs have everyone back. Tavernier, little stutter step, in it comes, the cross, headed away. Challenge goes in from Adley, and now Ekitike gets the ball back. Diakite rather. Bournemouth have still got possession, but they're right back on their halfway line now. Christie, centre circle, moves the ball out to the left-hand side. 17 minutes to go, Bournemouth lead 1-0. Nice little pass into Tavernier. Now Semenyo with some space. Little reverse angle pass for Evan-Nielsen to the byline. Puts in a cross. Van de Ven is there again. The amount of interceptions from Van de Ven and Romero when Bournemouth have got into those places. If they didn't have such quick centre-backs, Bournemouth would have got so many low balls in from the byline, but they've got a corner.
They've been last-ditch challenges, John, haven't they? Crucial challenges on a number of occasions, as you say. But it's the movement and timing and the runs and the energy from the Bournemouth players that just enables them to get into those areas. It's been so impressive.
Jayden Anthony with the equaliser for Burnley, by the way. Corner for Bournemouth on the left-hand side. Tavernier it's going to be with a left-footed away swinger, and Simon Hooper's spotted some pushing and shoving in the penalty area. Romero he's having a word with, and Vicario. Vicario's tangling with Adams, and Adams going, "It's not me, mate. Nothing to do with me." And Vicario's waving his big yellow gloves around, and they're still tangling with each other, Adams, and there's pushing and shoving between Adams and Vicario, and it comes from Tavernier, and it's cleared away by Spurs. It was not his best corner. It's Christie, nice turn away from Kudus. Still going Christie down the left-hand side for Bournemouth. Hasn't got any help at all, and Spence is with him. Comes off Spence, and he's won a corner. Well, that's about the best he could hope for from where he was, Ryan Christie. Bournemouth have another corner, and we've now got 16 minutes to go.
He did so well, didn't he? He was under real pressure from Kudus when the ball was coming over his shoulder and bouncing. Took a great little touch and turn, and then goes on to win his side another corner.
Reading have taken the lead against Port Vale by a goal to nil. Bromley are 1-0 up against Harrogate. Cambridge 2-0 up against Newport. Corner left-footed from Tavernier. Better looking delivery. Flicks off a Bournemouth head. Adley finds Diakite. Adams shot, saved by Vicario on the angle. It was one he should make. Adams just instinctive first time effort, and another chance for Bournemouth. But now Spurs might break. Kudus near the halfway line, comes inside on his left foot. He's got Spence with him ahead of him. Semenyo's got to be careful. If he'd made contact there, he was off. Kudus away towards the corner of the penalty area. I'd be tempted to bring Semenyo off now if I was Iraola. I think he's going to get sent off. And he's just pointed to his forehead, hasn't he? Say, think.
He's got both fingers pointing to his forehead, clearly trying to get Semenyo's attention to try and just calm down just a little bit, because as you say, if he connects with him, he's off.
Mateus Tell is on then for Spurs, and off goes Pat Sarr. Pat Sarr off, Tell on. Spurs going to give it everything for this last 14 minutes plus added time. Bergvall, chance to cross, good looking cross, in it goes. Petrovic, good claim, really good claim from the goalkeeper, and he's got a chance to. His distribution's not been great today. He's tried to send Adley away, and he's just overhit it, and it's a throw in for Spurs midway inside their own half. Brentford have taken the lead at Sunderland by a goal to nil, and Southampton are back in front against Watford. They lead 2-1 as Franny Benali punches the air. Former Southampton defender in the Premier League. Clearance from Petrovic, long, too long. Again, his distributions just let him down. Key moments, giving the ball away. Bristol City are now 4-1 up against Hull. Wigan have equalised at home to Stockport County. Bromley are ahead against Harrogate. Free kick for Spurs. Ironic cheers. 13 minutes to go. Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. The Rugby World Cup on the way next on 5 Sports Extra. And if you want the closing stages of the game between Manchester United and Burnley, it is over on 5 Live. So Brentford leading at Sunderland, Bournemouth leading here 1-0, Everton still 3-1 up at Wolves. Bournemouth unbeaten in their last 6 visits to London. Bergvall in possession in the centre circle. Nice ball to Odebear on the left. Bergvall again, slightly behind Bentancur. Bournemouth have really put a shift in. Spurs in possession with Bentancur. Thomas Frank looking to be the 3rd manager to win his first top 3 top flight games as a manager. Nuno did it. Here are Spurs in possession. No, didn't do that one, no. It would be the first. In comes a cross. Takes a little deflection. Bournemouth win a header. Tavernier can't control it. Van der Ven's got it. This is good position for Spurs. Left-hand side. Little left foot cross comes in. Deflected. Chance, Odebear over the bar. Struck it well enough. Too well. And he's looking to the sky, Odebear, because that was a chance for Spurs.
Certainly was, John, and it was such a patient build-up, wasn't it? They were keeping possession, working the ball from side to side, just waiting for that little opportunity, and when it came to Odebear, he just fluffed his lines a little bit. It takes a bounce, it's not easy, but he fires this shot high, well over the goal.
Wolves have got one back against Everton. Wolves 2, Everton 3. Ball high over the halfway line from Bournemouth. Spurs have got comfortable possession. Bournemouth look a little bit leggy. Spurs are definitely in the ascendancy at the moment. Spence, left-hand side. Van der Ven. Romero, still inside their own half. Spence. Into the feet of Bergvall is blonde hair bouncing. Now Spence again. Now Kudus on the right with a one-on-one against Truffert. Goes round him. Right foot cross is a good one. Takes a deflection. Falls for Bentancur. Back to goal. Midway inside the Bournemouth half. Roared on by Spurs fans. It's their best spell of the game. Romero. He's got players to aim at ahead of him. Spence. Bournemouth got everyone back behind the ball at the moment. Van der Ven. 15 yards inside the Bournemouth half. Cutting in is Tell. In towards Richarlison. Tries a 1-2. Senesi pokes it away. Only as far as Odebear, and it's gone out for a Bournemouth throw, and we are going to see some fresh legs for Bournemouth come on, and I do think they need that. So we're going to see Evan Nielsen come off and Cliver come on, and we're also going to see Junior Krupi come on for Bournemouth and Marcus Tavernier come off. So those will be the Bournemouth changes. And the game's been played at such a pace. Both sides have needed to make a lot of changes just for the legs.
Yeah, and I think that's a reflection on the number of fouls we've seen and challenges, the way that players have closed the opposition down as well. A few of the yellow cards as well have come from that, but the energy has been so impressive. But you mentioned just a few minutes ago, John, I think you're right. The changes are needed just to help the players that started for Bournemouth out there, because they're just dropping that little bit deeper now, aren't they? And Spurs are just getting that bit more possession. They had that chance a little moment ago, but yeah, it's going to be a fascinating sort of remaining 9 into the 9th minute plus any added time.
Watford have equalised again, I'm afraid, Franny, for you. Watford 2, Southampton 2. Here goes Cliver, first touch for him, for Bournemouth, towards the edge of the penalty area. Good challenge again by Van der Ven, and Bergvall will bring it clear. Over halfway, Kudus running at Bournemouth's defence. Good little foot in from Christie. Bournemouth have it back, and there's so much space in the game now. And they've got it with Krupi. Good defending again from Van der Ven, who's had such a good game. Spurs trailing by a goal to nil. 8 minutes plus added time remaining. Bromley are 2-0 up against Harrogate. Sunderland have equalised against Brentford at home. Enzo Lefebvre has scored there from the penalty spot. Kudus, 25 yards from goal, brings it onto his left foot. Goes back. Spence crosses deep. Up with a defensive header. Bournemouth head it clear. Ball not clear. Kluivert goes in and lands in a heap on the floor. Ball bounces through to Van de Ven near the halfway line. Bentancur.
Bournemouth can't get the ball now, John. A lot of the players are walking. They're clearly getting fatigued. This is the moment where Spurs have got to capitalise and just produce that little bit of moment of class and quality in the key moment.
Bolton have taken the lead at Blackpool. It's 2-1. Spence. Inside he goes to Kudus. Bournemouth have got so many players. They're so deep now, as Franny was saying. Van de Ven heads it to Bentancur. You get a feeling they could still do something on the break. They've got some legs on the pitch. They've got some pace on the pitch. But here comes the cross from Bentancur, and it's a tired slice clearance from Senesi, and it's out for a throw-in right by the corner flag on the right-hand side for Spurs. 7 minutes remaining, plus added time. Spurs 0. Bournemouth 1. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. And on BBC Sounds. And on the BBC website, more live commentaries than anyone else this season. Bergvall. In comes the long throw. Bournemouth win the first connection. And now Semenyo. Incredible athleticism over halfway. Semenyo. He's still going somehow. Amazing pace from Audebert. Like an express train. And they needed him. He came from nowhere, Audebert, and nicked the ball off Semenyo.
It's fabulous tracking back, wasn't it? And it was just as well he did do that, wasn't it? Maybe coming on only fairly recently certainly helped him. Semenyo got past about 2 or 3 challenges, didn't he? And he kept riding it, and yet he was coming away with the ball still. But they're on the break again.
Adley down the right for Bournemouth. Got some space. In comes the low cross. It was too close to the goalkeeper. Wasteful. And Iraola and the Bournemouth fans will be nervous now. 6 minutes to go. Can Spurs find an equaliser? You feel like it's coming. Kudus. Spence. Bradford have taken the lead 3-2 against Wimbledon. Score correction, it's Blackpool 1, Bolton 1. Goal was disallowed. Spurs are in possession, 5 yards inside the Bournemouth half. They've got it on the left now, and they move it to the outside, and it's a good run from Tell. Tell's at the byline. In comes the cross, deflected. Header goes in from Bournemouth, but not clear. They're still camped in the Bournemouth half here. The Spurs, left-hand side with Tell. Good challenge from Adley. He's done really well. He's got no help. He's found Kluivert. Kluivert, can he free Adley again? They've kept it in. They need a breather here, Bournemouth. They need to keep hold of the ball. They've got it at the minute. Good defending and good ratting about from Spurs. He won the ball back again. 5 minutes plus added time. Bournemouth leading by a goal to 0. On the right-hand side, they've got it again with Kudus. Kudus going towards the byline. Truffert is with him. Holds him up. In comes a cross. Richarlison wins the header. Headed away by Bournemouth, but not too far. Richarlison again at the byline. Got a chance to cross. Holds it up. Petrovic comes and claims. And that draws the applause from the Bournemouth fans in the corner. And we've got someone's gone down with cramp. And Petrovic throws it out straight away.
So I'd agree on occasions where you mentioned earlier, John, about his distribution, Petrovic, but where he has been outstanding for Bournemouth today is when those crosses have come into the box. He's been a loud, clear voice down there, and he's come and claimed the balls with his hands, hasn't he? Thereafter, maybe a little bit questionable on a few occasions, but it takes the pressure off so much when a keeper comes and does that, when the ball's slung into the box like it has done.
Bradford are 3-2 up against Wimbledon. Wolves 2, Everton 3. And Wolf scored the goal there for Wolves with a Gomez assist. Still 2-2 over on 5 Live between Manchester United and Burnley. Cullen with an own goal and Mbumo for Manchester United. Foster and Anthony for Burnley, who've twice levelled. Sunderland are 1-1 with Brentford. Lefebvre with a penalty for Sunderland equalised, and Thiago's goal with an Onyeka assist for Brentford. And who'd have thought this game would have the fewest goals in the Premier League so far today? It's just, when it was 1-0 on 5 minutes, you just thought, surely. In the live league table, Spurs, of course, with a victory here, and it's still possible, will go top above Chelsea in first and Arsenal in second. That's how it stands at the moment, and Bournemouth will be up to 6th, just behind Everton, who lead 3-2 at Wolves, as I mentioned. Bromley 2, Harrogate 0. Still tending to the injury to Adams here, who's going to have to go off the pitch, I think, because he's had some treatment for cramp. He's still limping around a little, and he's going to get a yellow card for taking his time going off the pitch here, Tyler Adams. Another one goes in the book. 5th player to be yellow carded in the game. Christie's got it midway inside his own half for Bournemouth. They've barely had the ball for the last 10 minutes. Long ball forward from Hill is hopeful. It wasn't what we were seeing earlier. Cliver chasing in vain. They've got 3 players ahead of the ball. That's brilliant from Christie. Adley tries to find Krupi. Krupi loses the ball, and Spurs have got possession again. And now Kudus has got some space. Truffert ahead of him. He's got 4 shirts up with him. Good interception from Senesi. That is brilliant. And straight away he tries to free Krupi down the left-hand side, but can't get hold of him. And Norwich are 2-0 up at Blackburn against 10 men.
Bournemouth just need to string a few passes together, John, don't they? When they do win those little interceptions, they've just got to keep hold of it a little bit if they can. You can't keep defending as they are.
Oliver into the penalty area, intercepted. They don't feel he took the right option there, trying to thread it. Adley's going to run that out of play. 1 minute plus added time remaining. Spurs 0, Bournemouth 1. Evan Nielsen's deflected effort in the 5th minute. Odegaard down the left-hand side. 3 waiting in the middle for a cross. Christie intercepts, and it's gone straight to the boot of a Bournemouth player. Ball over the top, looking for Krupi. Keeper comes out, Vicario, read it really well, and finds a white shirt in Jed Spence. Now they can build again. Bournemouth players drawing oxygen into their lungs for the last assault from Spurs.
I'm not saying they're out on their feet, Bournemouth, at all, John, but they're completely almost just camped on the edge of their 18-yard box. It's down to Spurs now to crack them open.
Christie claps his hands together for Bournemouth to say, come on, big last effort. Ball into the feet of Richarlison. It's a good ball. Cross could come in from the left-hand side. He's gone down looking for a penalty, thought about it, but decides against the full-on dive there. He was just caught. Just trying to see who it was running in, actually. Was it Tell? No, it was Udogie. Udogie on the overlap. Could have seen a toe-in coming here from a Bournemouth player. Just done well to pull himself out the challenge, the Bournemouth defender.
Yeah.
7 minutes. 7 minutes of added time. We're into it now. Bournemouth in possession with Christie, centre field. Semenyo thought he should have freed him down the left-hand side. Does he draw a little bump, a little foul? He doesn't. It's a throw-in to Spurs. Thomas Frank, edge of his technical area, waving his hands around. So is Andoni Iraola, who's out of his technical area. And they're clapping their hands to say, come on, big effort. Big effort, you're 1-0 up at Spurs as light drizzle begins to fall at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs are in possession on halfway. Van de Ven now midway inside his own half. It's not really a press anymore from Bournemouth. They've gone deep into 2 rows of 4, and then Krupi and Cliver just trying to manage pressing between them. Spence with a cross into the penalty area. In comes the volley from Tell, and it's wide of Petrovic's right-hand post. That was a really good effort. Wasn't far away, Franny Benali.
No, it certainly wasn't. But you think they're getting closer and closer, don't you? Spence's ball in. He's almost literally middle of the 18-yard box, and it was just fraction wide from Tell. It's a good technical sort of volley. He keeps it low and down, and I don't think Petrovic would have reacted or moved whatsoever. He was certainly not diving to save it. If it had been on target, it would have been a goal.
Bournemouth have got some players committed forward here as Semenyo wins a header, but then they lose the second ball. Bentancur, good interception from Senesi, important one. Christie for Bournemouth. Good composure from Christie, and wins his side a throw in. And he breathes deeply into his chest, Christie.
This is what Bournemouth need to manage, isn't it, John? You know, these little restarts, the little breaks, this is where they get not just their breather, but where they can dictate the pace of the game.
2 minutes of the 7 added gone. Bournemouth leading by 1-0. Trufair with a throw down the line. Semenyo flicks it inside. Spurs go long. Diakite wins a header for Bournemouth, but I think it's going to go out for a throw-in, is it? Yes, it's a throw-in to Spurs, midway inside the Bournemouth half on the right. Bristol City 4, Hull 2. Hull have got one back, and Huddersfield have got one back with 10 men. At Barnsley, they trail 3-1, and Barnet have equalised against Colchester. It's 1-1. Throw-in still not been taken by Jed Spence, midway inside the Bournemouth half. Bentancur goes square to Van de Ven, who dribbles forward with the ball. Udogie. Odebear inside, rides a challenge. Bergval's got some space, urged to shoot. Still Bergval. Really good run this from Bergval into the penalty area. Kudus low cross, straight at Petrovic. And the Bournemouth goalkeeper gathers it up. We've had 3 of the 7 minutes, and it's Bournemouth leading by 1-0.
You could argue that Kudus' ball across to the box wasn't the best, but it was only Richarlison really making a run across to try and get on the end of it.
Spurs have got the ball back. Bournemouth went long and lost it. Kudus cross off the heels of the defender for Bournemouth, and they've got possession back. Christie foul by Bergval, and it'll be a free kick to Bournemouth, and this will be an opportunity for them to get a bit of a breather.
Appreciate Bergval and Spurs want to win the ball back quick, but don't foul in those scenarios. The pressure's on the Bournemouth players to get out of their own half.
Don't need to, do you?
No, stay up. Just giving the foul away just breaks that momentum again. Stay on your feet, don't commit the foul.
Free kick for Bournemouth. Flicked on by Semenyo, but an offside flag went up against Semenyo. That's a bit sloppy, looking right down the line to be offside in that situation. Vicario wants to take this free kick quickly and has waved everyone forward. 2.5 minutes of the 7 added remaining. Rain falling. Spurs looking to keep their unbeaten start to the season alive in the Premier League. They want a foul out there on Odebear, but Bournemouth have won the ball back with Kluivert. Kluivert tries to play it through to Krupi. Intercepted, good defending. Spurs have possession. Kudus comes inside, crunching challenge. Bournemouth have won the ball back. Trufair, he's got so much space ahead of him. Trufair, what does he do with it? He rides the challenge of Spence. Still Trufair, goes down. That's just that's soft. That is soft. I think he'd just completely run out of puff, and he's gone down with cramp. Trufair, he was exhausted, and it was just an arm on the shoulder, wasn't it, Franny?
You've described it spot on, John. It was exactly that. Trufair just completely run out of gas. He just started to go to ground, and it was only the fact that Jed Spence's arm was on him a little bit. It looked like there was a offence that took place, and the referee, once again, not for the first time today, has upset the home supporters by giving a free kick. But this is a bit of a lifeline for Bournemouth.
Ball's in play, Spurs have got possession, but it's in their own right back spot. We've got 1 minute and 15 seconds of added time remaining. Bournemouth leading by 1-0. Richarlison goes down. He's not given that one, and it was very similar. It was very similar to the last one, which is why the fans aren't happy. It was just an arm on the shoulder, and Richarlison said, well, you're going to give that one, I'll go down, and he didn't get it. And Simon Hooper was a long way from it, but they will get that one, and this is a yellow card and a free kick for Spurs, I think. Yes.
I think there are games, aren't there, where you feel a little bit aggrieved if you're a fan or involved with a team that's on the wrong end of what you feel is a lot of decisions, and the play goes against you.
It was Hill.
Yeah, you feel a little bit aggrieved.
It was Hill who got the yellow card.
Hill's trying to get some treatment, trying to wave the medical team on himself. He's been told to get off the pitch by the referee, which he's now doing. So they're technically down to 10 men. Not technically, they are.
10 seconds of the 7 added remaining, but there will be a little bit extra because of that. That was a minute delay. Spurs have got a free kick a yard in from the left-hand touchline, midway inside the Bournemouth half, and they've flung everyone forward. In it comes, left-footed, into the penalty area, flicked header wide. Bournemouth goal kick. And the Spurs players think it was a corner. But he's given a goal kick. And Spurs fans are going to let Simon Hooper know what they think of his performance at the end of this. It's just one of those games, like you were saying, Franny, could well have flicked off a Bournemouth head that. Could well have come out Diakite at the end.
There's been a few I think the officials haven't got right today. And that's what's upset the supporters. I'm sure there'll probably be maybe some comments from the staff. And that's the whistle.
Final whistle goes. A famous win for Bournemouth. The fans celebrate. In the corner, those Cherries fans who've made the trip, they are bouncing up and down like corks on the sea. It's another away win for Bournemouth at Spurs. They did it in 2023, and Spurs' fantastic start to the season is over. You have to say, on the balance, especially in the first half, that Bournemouth deserved it, and then Spurs just couldn't unlock Bournemouth in the second half. Evan Nielsen's goal in the 5th minute, deflected, separates the two sides. What a game of football, Franny Benali.
I couldn't agree more. It was fabulous, wasn't it? Great intensity, great power, great energy, great skill and ability at times. And Bournemouth just nudged it. I'd agree with you, not just with the one goal that separated the two teams today, but they were better at the pressing, certainly in the first half. Ran out of gas a little bit in the second half, but rode their luck on occasions. Maybe got a few decisions from the officials that you might not have done on another day. But those are all the kind of things that come together. Ultimately, that enables you to take the 3 points in one game.
Yeah, a great game of football. You can follow it all on the BBC Sport website, of course, all the results and reaction as Thomas Frank is out there. And he's just shaking hands with all the Bournemouth and Spurs players out there at the moment. And the Bournemouth players go across to those Cherries fans in the corner. Their second 1-0 win in a row, and that is the response, the reaction you can hear to Simon Hooper leaving the pitch. Spurs fans not happy with his performance. Certainly didn't decide the game, though, in our opinion. Franny, been a pleasure working with you. We bring you more sport here on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, and it's World Cup action. We've got England Samoa for you from Franklin's Gardens. Here's Claire Thomas.